Oh, what a loss by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We were absolutely outclassed by the Philadelphia Eagles. The score doesn't necessarily show how much the Eagles beat us by, just because there was a lot of missed opportunities in the red zone for the Eagles and things like that, and a couple of turnovers. But yeah, we were outclassed, and I think, like many Bucs fans, I was definitely hopeful that the game would be much closer, or we could actually squeak out a win. I know last week I said if we stopped the run, we had a legitimate shot, but I think this just proves that we were pretty excited over the first 2 weeks of the season where we didn't expect to at least be 2-0, and now we got this loss to kind of humble us and bring us down. But regardless, there are still a lot of glaring flaws that the team has, and I think it's something that would need to be addressed, and I don't know if it'll change, but I'll get into all that. So if you are new here, I am Ramy B. I post weekly reaction videos, so make sure you click the subscribe button down below, and let's get into my reaction. So the Buccaneers lost a 25-11 game to the Philadelphia Eagles. The Buccaneers had a horrible offensive performance, 174 total yards in the game, 133 passing and 41 rushing yards. The Eagles kind of had their way with us offensively, 472 yards total with 271 passing and 201 rushing, which is very, very concerning. I know last year we fell off tremendously in terms of rush defense compared to 2019, 2020, and 2021. And we thought this year so far it's been pretty good, but the Eagles literally had their way with us with their rushing offense, and we had no stop for it. Obviously, we had injuries. Devin White seems to have a groin issue, and there's a lot of things, but it's not good. It's not good. We don't seem to have fixed the issues that we had last year. But let's go to the Bucs offense first. Baker Mayfield was 15 of 25 for 146 yards, a touchdown, a pick. He was also sacked twice. Not the best performance from him today. Obviously, Mike Evans had a few drops, which were very uncharacteristic-like of him. A couple of drops that hit his hands and he should have caught, so that definitely contributed to it. But not an efficient day. The pick that he threw, he definitely didn't see the defender who was kind of shading in and ended up coming in and stealing the ball. I think the pass was intended for Godwin, I want to say, or maybe it was Trey Palmer. I don't remember exactly. But in the end, he did bring us down, get a score to bring us within 2 scores after the 2-point conversion. But at that point, it was too late, and the game was essentially sealed. The run game. Now, the run game is one of our biggest flaws. Rachaad White, 14 carries for 38 yards, 2.7 yards per carry, and Sean Tucker, 2 carries for 1 yard. I think officially the Rachaad White experiment should be over. The man played all of last year. He had all of last year or whatever. I don't know how many games he played. Majority of the year, obviously he didn't start a lot, but the majority of the year he played, and then this season he's played 3 games. He's had 1 good game, and that was the game in Germany. And then last week's game, he had an average game. So I think he's played about 20 games now, maybe 22, 21, and he's had 1 good game and 1 average game. I think the experiment is over, and I know there's a lot of people that are really fanboys of him for some reason. I don't know why. He doesn't necessarily show as much in the run game, and I know he spends a lot of time kind of on Twitter, like, oh, I'm going to silence the doubters, watch me this season, but he's spending more time and energy talking about what he's going to do and not necessarily doing it. So I'm officially over Rachaad White. He seems to fall over a lot. He plays very tall, and when he gets touched, he falls. He's just not what I think he was going to be. I know they say he's explosive and stuff, but it really hasn't shown, and I think continuing to run him into the ground is not going to do anything except hurt the offense and continue to put us in really bad situations. Sean Tucker, I mean, he hasn't really had a lot of opportunity. I know he had like a heart issue before, so maybe he's still recovering, but I want to know why Vaughn is not being played as much. He had his rookie season when our Super Bowl year, he had a couple good runs, couple good catches, and then the year after 2021 against the Eagles, he had a pretty good and effective run day, rushing performance. I don't know why we don't play him anymore unless Todd Bowles has an issue with him. I don't know, but Rachaad White is not the answer, and as long as we continue to trot him out there, he is not going to perform for us or really help us in the run game, unless it seems like the runs he does make effective yardage, like gets 10, 12, 13 yards. It's more just circumstance of the O-line busted out a big hole. It's not necessarily him making someone miss or him really earning it, if that makes sense. Receiving game, again, we only had 133 yards passing. So Evans had 60 yards and 5 catches and a touchdown. On that drive, beautifully, had 2 really tough catches, one of them being that one-hander where he caught it in the air and it seemed like he got hit like a Madden play. He like got hit and stayed on the dude's shoulder for a while and then landed weird and like bent his leg but got up again. It was really weird, but beautiful catch. And again, usually Evans I feel like has 1 or 2 really bad drops and can follow it up with really dominant, impressive catches and dominant performance. Godwin had 3 for 32 and converted the 2-point conversion. And Rachaad White was our 3rd leading pass catcher, 3 catches for 24 yards and a fumble, which was after the interception Devin White had before the half. Rachaad White caught it, got punched out, and essentially ended any chance of us making it. I want to say at that point, potentially a 10-3 game. Because I think at that point we were down 13-3. I don't remember exactly, but we were down 1 or 2 score. It wasn't that much of a, we were down 7 to 10 points. So yeah, run game, nobody else had over 20 yards receiving. Defensively, I think we started out the game very well. I know Dean got hurt, came back and got hurt. We were already out Davis, so obviously the secondary was going to struggle a bit, but I think Zion McCollum and D. Delaney obviously played as well as they could. Levante David had a sack, so I think that was the only sack that the D-line had. It seemed like a lot of times the pass rush was getting to Hurts, but not necessarily hitting him, like failing. And then Joe Tryon-Shianka again being manhandled. There was one play, I think on the first touchdown that Jalen threw, like he had no response to their right tackle when he kind of just stuffed him up. He didn't have any, moves to kind of get out of being manhandled. It's kind of bad to see, and it's like at this point, you've been in the season now. You've been playing 3 years? This is your 3rd season. You haven't really shown much. Again, not really that well. Devin White had a pick right before the half, like I said, and I definitely think the groin issue is bothering him, because had he not had that groin issue, that was a pick 6. Devin White is arguably the fastest linebacker in the NFL. I don't know if you saw after a Super Bowl, he did the 40-yard dash with like one of the players from the Chiefs and someone else, and he like killed it. So definitely he ran and kind of just went out of bounds. He definitely has a groin issue, and I think he re-aggravated it. And then D. Delaney with a great pick when the Eagles had that deep ball to the end zone that looked like it was going to be a touchdown against us. He kind of picked it off, and his foot touched his second foot landed in the end zone right before he went out, which led to us having the ball at the 1-yard line. And then again, Rachaad White getting stuffed, safety, which goes to my overall issue with the offense again, is the tendency or the urge to keep running on first down. Again, the Eagles' strength is their defensive line, especially the interior, and we kept running it into the interior of the D-line over and over and over again. And again, like anybody could have called that first down run up the gut at our goal line was going to result in a safety or no gain at all. But for some reason, again, Dave Canales, I think he said this week that even though the team has a really good rush defense in the Eagles, you still have to keep pounding it and I guess like force your will and potentially break one out, which is to me kind of a really stupid thought, because if their defense is that good, clearly you're not going to break many, and if you do, it's going to be a fluke. But we kept doing it over and over, and then obviously in the end, when we were down and the game was kind of getting close in the 4th quarter, we started passing and had success. And I don't know if that's Dave or that's mostly Bowles. I think it's mostly Bowles really wanting to run. It's starting to give me flashes of last year where we keep the game kind of within reach, we run the ball a lot, and then when it's not working, we start passing, we score, and then we have to rely on 1 or 2 defensive stops and then get, come back and win. But this time we don't have Brady, we have Baker. I'm not sure how clutch he is. I never paid attention as much in Cleveland, but again, relying on your defense to get 2 or 3 stops when they couldn't all game, and then thinking, all of a sudden the offense is going to click. Again, the runs at this point, especially with Rachaad White, are becoming just wasteful plays. We might as well just start on 2nd down. You know what I'm saying? So it's really frustrating. Jalen Hurts was 23 of 37 for 277, 1 touchdown and 2 picks. Again, he didn't play his best game, but he didn't necessarily need to. He scored when he needed to. He also had a rushing touchdown as well, and 28 yards rushing, especially with those little QB sneaks he does. The run game dominated us. DeAndre Swift, 16 carries for 130 yards at 8.1 yards per carry, and Gainwell, 14 for 43. We had no answer. We need a back like DeAndre Swift, a little guy that can just zip through the opening in the line and all of a sudden get on the 2nd level, because it felt like that's all he was doing, was getting into the 2nd level. Receiving game, A.J. Brown, 9 for 131. Zacchaeus, 2 for 58 and a touchdown, and Goddard, 5 for 41. Goddard, 5 for 41. So nobody else really had over 40 yards on the Eagles receiving team. But again, this was just a very horrible performance by the Buccaneers today, and I think there was a lot of things that are flashes from last year. I know Canales has better pass game options, and we're using motion, and when we pass the ball, it's good. We're scheming players open and things like that. But the run game, again, we're just shoving it down the defense's throats, and it's hurting us. Rachaad White is not the answer. He's not a good running back. I think he sucks, and I think his pass catching, I know people hype it up, but I think his pass catching is barely average. I mean, sure, he has good hands, but I want to say last year he had a couple fumbles, if I can remember correctly. Don't quote me, but still, he's pass catching, but he's not breaking tackles. He's not gaining big yards. He had one pass catch that he took like, I think 15, 20 yards, but it seemed like the defender kind of tried hitting him as he caught it and kind of missed. So again, like when he gains yards, it's more flukes, nothing that he does. So I don't know. I think there definitely needs to be a change in the offensive philosophy. I think, again, when you have Evans, Godwin, Palmer, you need to use the pass to set up the run, kind of like we did our Super Bowl year. We were throwing the ball like crazy, and it opened up in the playoffs and in the Super Bowl, the run game. And I think that's what we need to do, but continuing to do this old school mentality of let's run, pound it. Even if we're not getting yards, we're getting 2 yards a carry, 1 yard a carry. They have to respect it or whatever, and we're going to break one. It's not effective. So the Bucs are sitting at 201. We're tied for first place, but I don't know how the tiebreakers work right now after 3 games, so we're technically in third if you look at the division listing with Atlanta first and Saints second, but we're all tied. We play a big game next week against the Saints before our bye week. Derek Carr got hurt, and it looks like Jameis might be starting again. I know last year when he played against us the whole game in week 2 or 3, we beat him 20-10, and he had 3 picks and 2 pick sixes, I want to say, or maybe it was 1 pick six, I don't remember. But yeah, I think playing Jameis is definitely a better quarterback for us to face because of the turnovers, and again, our Bucs defense knows him so well. They were, defending against him under Bowles since 2019 when he was on the Bucs, and then played him, I want to say, in 2021, I think, before he got hurt, and then last year we played him again. So definitely it's going to be a tough game in New Orleans because those games are always tough. Their offense doesn't seem that impressive at all. I think we've scored more points than them this season. When I looked it up, I think 8 or 9 more points. Their offense isn't impressive with Derek Carr, so I don't think they will be with Jameis. And then their defense is very impressive as always, and it seems like it's hard to score on them. So it's going to be a low-scoring game. I hope Carlton Davis is back because I think Michael Thomas is still healthy. But we definitely need our defense full strength so we can keep a very low-scoring game and hopefully pull it out offensively, but not with the run game. So yeah. Anyways, Bucs Nation, comment down below what you thought of the game. Disappointed in the way we handled it. Again, we didn't have to win, we just had to keep it close. Again, the only reason the score wasn't a bigger margin was because of the 2 turnovers, and then they settled for some field goals inside our side of the field. So yeah, comment down below what you thought of the game, and as always, thank you for tuning in. Hopefully we can turn it around, and let's go Bucs.
Let's go! You a Buccaneer fan? Let me know. Let me know. We about to win this thing at home. Let's go! Buccaneers!